Project Management Insights, providing project managers with professional development in the interpersonal skills areas of leadership, team building, and communication. All right, so welcome to this episode of Project Management Insights, and it's like a bonus episode because I missed one last week, so you'll have two this week. So today I'm going to talk about the 3 ways to manage stress on your project. We all know that as a project manager, there's so much going on. It feels oftentimes like we don't have enough hours in our day because of all of the things that we need to do, and we get stressed. I mean, it's just a done deal, I think, as part of taking on the role of a project manager. So these 3 things are 3 things that I've found that have worked really well for me in terms of starting to lower my stress levels. And they're things that we don't often or are not often aware of, that we're not doing them, or that we mightn't have even thought about doing them. So let's dive into the first thing, which is about prioritizing. How good are you at prioritizing the tasks or the work that needs to be done in your day? And we're talking about a day here. Now, I understand you've got a project plan that has tasks on it, and those tasks are prioritized in an order for the delivery to occur. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your individual schedule on any given day. How good are you at prioritizing what you have to do, what you might do, and what doesn't need to be done? Sometimes what I've found is that I tend to think that I need to do everything and do it all today, and that's what creates the stress, because I'm always in the space of thinking about the things that I haven't done and what I need to do and what I should be doing and what needs to be completed. And that then means that I'm always ahead of, I'm in the future worrying about all of those things, and that in itself is what creates the stress. So stop and write yourself your to-do list. I've talked to you many times about writing a to-do list or a running action list of things that you have to do, not have to do. And what I would then suggest that you do on your day, so if that's something that you write last thing of a night time, which is what I used to do. I used to create tomorrow's to-do list at the very end of my day before I left the office, because then I understood exactly what it was that was on my list for tomorrow, the things to do. And what I would do then is prioritize them. So I used to mark them with either numbers, so 1, 2, 3, top 3 things for me to do. They were the things that needed to be done regardless. Prioritize those. And then the other things are nice to-dos. So there were, things on the list that it didn't matter if I didn't get to, and there were those things that, sure, it was going to be great if I got to them and they weren't critical. And sometimes the criticality factor is the thing to consider here. Is there something on your list that it's critical that you do by a certain time? And if that's the case, then it should be your top priority. And so by prioritizing it and making sure that your focus is then on that particular thing, it's going to make your life easier and you won't feel as stressed. So prioritize. Make it a habit in your day to prioritize the tasks that you have, and only prioritize what you know, because you can't know what's going to come up in your day. And if something occurs in your day which has a higher priority, then of course it means the other things in your list have to slip, and that's a given. You can't do everything all at once. So be okay with the fact that something might slip because something of a higher priority has come up during your day. Be totally okay with that. And prioritizing will help you to feel less stressed. Now, the next thing to consider is, how much are you able to delegate? Are there things on your list things that need to be done that other people could do. Now, on a number of the projects that I've worked on, there's just been me. I haven't had a project coordinator to support me. And so that's meant that a lot of the time I thought that the jobs were only for me. I was the only one that could do them. And then what I began to realize was that there were other people available to me within the organizations that I worked in, that I could delegate some of these tasks to. So, for example, if I had reporting to do and I had to follow up on the reporting, what I found was that, as an example, my project sponsors EA could help support me with that if I didn't have a project coordinator. Or there might have been someone else in the team that had spare time available that could also take on that task for me. So what do you need to have done, and who are the people around you that could support you in those tasks if you were to delegate them? Now, delegating is not always easy. We often have the belief that nobody's going to do it as good as me, and that could be the case, and it might be something that you want to consider, that if you think that that's the case, then you have a choice, don't you? You can either delegate and give up the fact that it needs to be 100% perfect. You might need to do a slight amount of rework with it. Or you can make the choice that it would be okay that if that's not okay, that's not acceptable, it has to be 100% perfect, and then that means you get to do the job. Don't stress about it. I mean, the given is you made the choice to not delegate. You've decided that you are going to do the work, and so be okay with that and then prioritize it. And this will then help with the stress levels because, again, if it's mapped out as to the priority and where it fits in your day or what needs to be done and how it works in your day, you know that you're either going to delegate it or it's going to go onto your list in a prioritized manner. Then again, it lessens your stress levels. So consider what you can delegate, consider what you are open to delegating, and then make the choice. Will I delegate or won't I? And you won't know if it's okay to delegate until you ask. Sometimes what I found was it was a matter of me asking for support and then giving it a go. So getting someone to collate the reporting information for me as an example, and testing to see whether I was okay with the quality of the work that came back and whether there are any issues with it. More often than not, it was my story that the person wasn't capable and able to do it. And I also noticed that it depended on how clear I was with my instruction and my expectations and assumptions, and that once I was clear with those in terms of the person that I was delegating the work to, the easier it made it, because the more likely I was to get what I wanted. So consider when you are delegating work, how clear are you with what you are asking for, and in expressing your expectations and your assumptions of the work that's going to come back. Take the time to be aware of that. Take the time to make those things clear for the person that you are delegating to, because you will find that it will make a difference. And again, it will create less stress because they're clear on exactly what you're wanting from them. You're clear on exactly what you've asked them to do. And the more likelihood you are to get what you want when it comes back, creating less stress for you. All right, so the third way to manage stress on your project is to only focus on one thing at a time. Now, I know I've done another podcast episode on this, and it's a key thing that I have learned that has made me far more efficient and made my day run far more easily with less stress if I am only thinking about the next thing to do. I'm not off into the latter part of the day. I'm not working on the list of things that I should have done yesterday that I didn't do. I am only focused on what I am doing now. Am I going to a meeting? Right. What do I need for the meeting? go to the meeting, be 100% present in the meeting. You might find that the meeting actually takes less time. Then you come back. Okay, what's the next thing that I need to do? Right, it's valuable if I write up my dot point notes of what was agreed in the meeting and send that out. Tick, it's done. Then that's done and it's off my to-do list. What's the next thing to do? Right, reporting. Okay, what are the steps for reporting? What do I need to do? Who do I need to follow up on? Spend the time focused on putting your reporting together. Again, you will find that you might have allotted an hour and it might only take you half an hour, it might take 45 minutes. The deal here is that the more that you focus on the one thing, the less time it is going to take you to do it. I know that sounds crazy, and yet it works. When your mind is scattered and you are all over the place, thinking about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, however many things, you are stressed, you are not focused, and you find it difficult to complete things in the simplest possible way. And therefore, you are adding to your stress, not decreasing your stress levels. So take the time to focus. Focus on one thing at a time and do that one thing. Be fully present with that one thing, and you will notice that you get time back. You end up with time to spare. That means that you can do other things that you had on your list and again, create less stress for you because you're not adding things to your list and not getting to them. You will have time. You will find time to be able to do things. Overall, create less stress for you. So give these 3 things a go. Prioritize your day. Look at what you might be able to delegate, and if you delegate, make sure that you are providing clear instructions of your expectations and your assumptions. And when you are doing something, focus on that one thing. It will give you time and it will make your day and whatever you're doing less stressful. And ultimately, this is all about you being more efficient and getting more done with more ease rather than more stress. So take the stress out of your day. Try these 3 things. Remember to subscribe to Project Management Insights on either iTunes or Podcast Addict or a number of other podcasting platforms. I do publish a podcast every Thursday. It will come out regularly on a Thursday for you, and that's Thursday in the USA and Canada. For Australia and the rest of the world, of course, you're going to need to check whether it's the day after for you, perhaps. But Thursday is the day that this podcast will be published, and we're getting close. I'm getting close to having published 100 different episodes. So remember to go back and check out some of the earlier episodes, because you never know what you might find is going to support you and help you in your project management journey. All right, until next time. Thank you for listening to this Project Management Insights podcast. Be sure to visit projectmanagementinsight.com and sign up for our monthly newsletter or to receive updates on upcoming training.